Greetings, welcome to Little Discovery Corner. Where I do channeled readings from cards, oracles, and today I decided to have another go at some art, doodles, scribbles. So I have a few things prepared. Let's start with my doodles. So this one, not sure how to make a whole lot of sense about it, but it does kind of remind me of a circuit board, or like a diagram of a circuit board with the way sometimes you see like zigzags. So maybe like perhaps that indicates energetic flow, directing your energy. And I closed my eyes and picked a marker at random. I picked this, not red, might look a little red on the screen, but it's like a magenta color. This here kind of makes me think of like a tangled extension cord. And here, I don't know, almost like jigsaw puzzle pieces. So I don't know maybe you guys get something else out of it, but I would interpret this as maybe focusing your energy on untangling your thoughts and feelings, like whatever's stirring up inside. And I certainly know the feeling of all my thoughts and feelings are just a big tangled mess and that needs sorting through. And so that you can make, sort them out into puzzle pieces that can fit together to figure out, your stuff, your traumas, your wounds, your issues, what might be causing you to feel a certain way, act a certain way, act out of ego versus your higher self, aligning with your higher self. All right, so what else do I have here? I wrote some words down as they came to me, and I was writing down some visuals. I actually didn't write these down together on this page like this. I was scribbling them down in my one of my documents, and when I listed them side by side, they just happened to kind of coincide. Like playtime is over kind of came next to children on a boat along with ship sailing. So for words, I got annoying, playtime is over, ship sailing, communicate, window closing, love is magic, and surrender to love. So this kind of ties in a little bit with previous readings about trying to open up with communication and how, love is magic. Something along those lines came out before with like the concept of Excalibur, like the magic, like with a magical like symbol here. And interestingly, like the sword, Excalibur sword, is also a symbol of communication, ideas, thoughts, and information. So, and ship sailing, that also reminds me a little of the visual I reported a little while ago of water spilling over like a dam or a reservoir off a cliff. Like it felt like time slipping away. Like that's how I saw it. So annoying and playtime is over. So I don't know, annoying might refer to like maybe being stuck in if maybe you've been like operating out of ego, overly concerned with material wealth, and playtime, like maybe ego, like grasping, clinging toward a certain outcome, wanting people to getting hung up over how someone's acting, and if it's not lining up with how you want them to act. That's like an ego. That's like ego, right? And it's kind of like a youthful way of thinking, right? And so some of the visuals I've seen in my third eye when I was purposely asking for them. I recently saw a yellow figure in a blue screen. Now this I believe represents like how someone sees you, the connection. I think a connection you're seeking to restore or establish with a particular person. This might be how they view you, like a figure in a TV screen or on a play, like you're playing a character in a play or story, and they're not sure if that's the real you or if it's just a mask to you. It's like someone you're presenting to the world to give a certain impression to everybody. And yeah, interesting that playtime is over. Ship sailing kind of ended up next to children on a boat. Now, this visual that I saw reminded me of the Judgment card, where there's a bunch of figures looking up toward the sky, that big like angel figure in the sky with his trumpet. But these were childlike figures, and they were orange instead of gray, indicating still alive, and where the gray figures indicate spirits, and the sails were red. So that actually kind of ties in with all of this, like in a more of a childlike mentality, like a ego-driven mentality on clinging, reaching, wanting certain outcomes to go your way, and kind of not knowing what to do about it when they don't. And orange is like a color of creativity, and red is like the color of like earthly concerns, like your earthly life. So, and that's what the ego is like. It's more of a undeveloped mentality of clinging to certain outcomes in life, wanting people to act a certain way for you, not being able to let go of how people are going to react to you, right? And what you do. Black hole. Yeah, I saw like this black circle, this disc surrounded by a royal blue field with crossing white grid lines. And I kind of interpreted that as like the white lines were like the crossing paths of your thoughts over blue. Kind of makes me think of emotions, water, bodies of water, but it can also mean it is also the head chakra. So that would make sense. And your ego mind is just this black hole for your busy thoughts just and your emotions just get sucked into without being sorted out and mastered. I also saw, and this was very specific, a pair of closed lips that opened. I also saw a toucan opening its beak. So these are very similar. Both mouths opening, and toucans, I believe, they're like parrots. I think they can talk, or at least mimic human words, which ties into this, communicate. And ship sailing also ties into window closing, like the window of time is closing, your time is slipping away to communicate and surrender to love. Like surrender to not just romantic love, but platonic love, divine love, like familial love, just like all-encompassing universal love. Like trust in universal love and trust in your higher self as part of that universal love to lead you where you need to go, lead you to your highest path, regardless of how things turn out in your earthly connections. And the last thing I saw was like a wheel. It was similar to one of the like wheels with little spokes on it that I saw on a card, one of the Wild Mystic Oracle cards recently, except it was like a purple color. It reminded me of like a ship's wheel or Tibetan Buddhist wheel, like the Dharma wheel, or like the Aztec calendar wheel. So yeah, which also ties in with time, right? The concept of time, the concept of cycles, beginnings and endings. So, all right, this is starting to get long. Last thing. I picked a few pencils at random with my eyes closed. It started with the gold, which made me think of like a gold aura, like the solar plexus chakra, which is courage, bravery, your gut instincts. This makes me think, this was gray, and it made me think of like shadow side, doing your shadow work, exploring your psychological baggage, basically, to kind of like sort through it, what might be motivating you to act out of ego and be stuck in negative cycles and negative thought patterns. This one was like an orangey red color, which can either be the color of the sacral chakra, which is like creativity and creation, or the base chakra, which is earthly living, earthly concerns, your earthly life. And then this, I mean, it's also yellow, but it's like a paler yellow, so I felt pulled to pick a fourth color, and this is what I ended up with. So this could just be like another way of representing like your higher self, like a paler yellow could just be like the sun, the light of the sun, and also like the energy of the sun in like a spiritual sense, like the light above that we're all reaching for, right? So anyway, I should wrap this up. Hopefully you see something out of this, maybe getting any thoughts or ideas. I'll see you next time.